5:02. It is going down on a beautiful Saturday morning. This is your boy, Raashaan Myers, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio on a very iffy Saturday morning, August 1st, 2026. We made it, people. August, the month that is the beginning of football season. Absolutely excited to be here. Absolutely excited to be in here with you. Welcome to all those listening terrestrially on your radio airwaves this morning. Welcome to everybody listening on YouTube, listening on Facebook, listening on Twitter. Love to hear from you this morning. Super excited. We have a loaded show for you this morning. And I tell you what, man, the energy in the air and everything just feels differently, you know, now that we are officially into August. And it is not your normal August. There's so many things happening in the world of sports. There's so many things happening. We have a ton of Louisville basketball to talk about. We have a ton of, updates and news on college athletics. You have just an absolute neutron bomb being dropped on all of college athletics as we have a new ruling that has just come down yesterday evening. We have things going on with the negotiations for the Protect College Sports Act that's been going through Congress, and some rulings going on there. There's so much happening. My head is spinning, but of course, Louisville basketball is going to be the focus early because, of course, there was a exhibition that, of course, no one could see on Tuesday, but nevertheless, we followed along. We watched on Stat Broadcast. We got all of that good information that came out of that, and I'm going to talk about all of that. I'm going to talk about what I feel you can glean from that footage, or not from the footage, or, there was very limited footage, but, what we can glean from the information that was given, as well as the information that was given by Pat Kelsey after the event, and just how the University of Louisville has moved since the event is over. I think there's a lot of very interesting things that we can get into, and of course, that's probably going to be a big part of our morning, is just kind of discussing all of those different little, things that you may have overlooked or you really didn't think about. And that's definitely going to be a part of it. But, of course, we want you to be a part of it as well. 502-414-1450. That is the Game Day Men's Health text line. Would love to hear from you. I got the text groove up and rolling. So would love to hear from you, your thoughts on anything this morning, whether it be thoughts on what you heard, or the little tidbits that, the University of Louisville Athletic Department put out for you that you could see in what happened down in the Bahamas. If you have thoughts on that, if you have thoughts on the stats, if you have thoughts on what you thought was going to happen versus what actually happened, I'm here for it all, man. Like, there's just so much to get into with that, and we definitely want you to be a part of it. Of course, if you want to give me a call, phone lines are always open. I know Mike Rutherford doesn't take phone calls, so a lot of times people don't realize that you can actually call in to the station and somebody will answer. That's somebody being me, of course. But if you want to give me a call this morning, 502-384-1450. That is the Call Your Law Office hotline. Would love to hear from you and hear what you have to say about Louisville basketball, Louisville football. Football practice. Fall practice is about to kick off, like literally any time now. We are here. The summer's done, y'all. Summer's done. We're here. We're back. So have all those things to react to. The Baltimore Ravens are back in camp. So, of course, is this Lamar Jackson's final big opportunity to make a run and to make this thing happen? It could be. So, there's people talking about that. And, I saw some interesting ratings in terms of, how people are thinking about, they're thinking about the Ravens this year. So, there's just a lot. There's so many things, but we got to start with the basketball because y'all know, I'm a basketball head. So that's always going to fill the thoughts in my head immediately. So let's go ahead. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. And like I said, we will definitely read your texts as they come in as well. 502-414-1450. But let's break it down. So Louisville Cardinals, of course, had their unseen exhibition game on Tuesday. Everybody knows my thoughts on that whole situation and how that went down. I will get into Pat Kelsey's comments after the game and what that tells me after we break down the ins and outs of it. But we will get into that part of it. But just in regards to the game itself, of course, going out there against the Bahamas raw talent, I don't know how much raw talent there is in the Bahamas. There is some talent in the Bahamas. They maybe would have been better off calling them the Bahamas some talent rather than the Bahamas raw talent, because there were a couple guys out there that could hoop. There's basketball players everywhere, y'all, but I don't know if it necessarily rises to the level of raw talent. That might be a bit much. But we do have joining us in studio the architect himself. Y'all know he's always in the that's what I call him on the commercial. The architect himself, Mr. Harrington, join us with his the district T-shirt on this morning. So let me ask you something, Haven. First of all, good morning.
Morning, sir.
So are you now a Washington Wizards fan? Is it because AJ Dabansa is now a Washington Wizard? Are you supporting the Wizards? Is that what's happening here?
No.
Okay. So who got you a T-shirt? Did somebody just buy that for you? Because I would not have expected you to go into a store and buy a Wizards, any Wizards gear.
Why not? This is just a DC T-shirt, our nation's capital.
That is not a DC T-shirt. That is literally the moniker of the Wizards. So now you're a Wizards fan.
Okay, first of all,
congratulations.
The Wizards will always be the Bullets, thanks to Mark Bacon.
No, you're a Wizards fan now.
Thanks to Mark Bacon, they will forever be and always be the Bullets.
That's fair. That's definitely who they are. Especially when you have guys like Javaris Crittenton and Gilbert Arenas around to remind you.
That's right. The Washington Bullets. Wow. A name that never should have gone away.
I mean, they thought they were doing the politically correct thing while they still had the Washington Redskins right across the street for however long before they finally relented. But, I digress.
So, I was listening to you talk about the greatness that was the Bahamian, was it raw talent?
The raw talent.
And they were raw. Like, they were raw. They were guys who weren't, I'm not going to say they didn't have talent, but they're like the name says, they're raw talent.
They should have been Bahamas some talent.
Yeah, and and I know people were excited to read the box scores of the game and almost a 50-point win and our great 3-point shooting, which kind of took people by surprise, and all this other stuff. But I'm just like, you're playing the Bahamian version of Athletes in Action, maybe. Like, I don't even think they rise to the level of Athletes in Action. So, like, how much can you really glean from playing like a JV squad?
Well, and you know what, Haven Harrington? I am so glad you asked that, because that is exactly where, this conversation was going to go. Like, and that's what I want to talk about, because people talk about, just the pure numbers, and, for the most part, these guys were, of course, well overrated. There was a couple of good players. The young man, Dominique Bridgewater, for the Bahamas team, he's a pretty good player. He's a top level player in the French league over in EuroLeague. Really good player. He led that team in scoring. So he's a capable player. 26 years old. I think he was averaging about 17 points per game over there in EuroLeague. So, good player there. And they apparently had this young man, Colby, who is a class of 2029, 5-star prospect or something. So they had, had a couple of, actually talented players on that team. Now, the rest of the guys, I don't really, have any idea, but it was pretty much what you would expect, right? Like a Louisville versus Bahamas team, where Louisville, It's a much more talented team, much deeper team. But you at least had enough guys that would at least give the Cards a bit of a workout for, a half of a half. And I think that's basically what they got. The first 10 minutes of the first half and, maybe the first, 5 to 8 minutes of the second half. The Bahamian team at least made them have to work. And I think that's what you want.
Worth all the secrecy?
Absolutely not. That's
the other question. Like, was it worth? I mean, because Pat Kelsey came out and pretty much said that he's the reason that they didn't have this on TV. It wasn't televised. They were just working the gym. They kept everything under wraps.
Yes.
So you couldn't see how they were working the high-low, whatever they were doing. And you got just bits and pictures of the team and, little video here and there, warm-ups. They both almost wearing the same color jerseys, so it's almost kind of hard to tell the team apart between who was who.
Yeah.
And, it's like, was it worth it? Because my thing is, yes, I know you're trying to keep this in-house. You're trying to work on, your new offense, your new defense, your bigger lineup, your bruisier lineup and whatever. But, in the first couple of games anyway, every coach is going to see what you have. And within 6 or 7 games, folks are going to kind of know who you are and who you're not.
Yeah. So it's like
what does it really matter?
Yes. Well, I want to get into. I definitely want to get into.
And you're
that
scrimmaging a bunch of bums. It's like how much can you really glean?
All right. You know what? And let's go ahead and jump into that. I'll get into the player centric aspect of it after that. But since you brought it up, and that's what everybody.
But it's
wants
true.
To focus on.
But it's true. It's like how much can you really learn about your team? How much can another coach and everybody else really learn about your team when you're playing guys that may come in third in the dirt bowl?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like how much can you really glean from your team? How much are you really, really going to learn? How much, information can you give to other coaches that use against you that they won't be able to figure out within the first 5 or 6 games of the season?
Yeah, it's like all your film is out there. Because it's basketball. At the end of the day, it's 5-on-5. There's not that much nuance to basketball to where you're going to be able to just come out and it's going to take any team more than a game or two to figure out who the key players are, what your rotation is, and what you're looking to do. It's basketball.
And honestly, like when you look at it, it's not just that, but when you look at I understand you with what you're trying to do with the secrecy, man. On the surface, I get it, but at the end, it just makes no sense because every team, every school, because of NIL, because of the portal, every school is turning over 80% of the roster anyway. So every year you're going against a brand new teams.
Yeah.
So every team is almost starting over from scratch. Most Power 5 teams, especially the Power 5 elite teams, they're only bringing back 1 or 2 dudes.
So hold on. So I'm going to play this. This was Pat Kelsey's comments after the game on Tuesday. This was his response to Brooks Holton, and Jody Demling, who were the only 2 media members that were down there. But here's what he had to say after that, Haven Harrington. Then we can kind of go from there.
One of her idols and mentors was the great Kenny Klein. It was really cool that we had a moment of silence for Kenny earlier. But she keeps me abreast of. She's got her finger on the pulse of a nation, of Louisville Nation, of Cardinal Nation. And I'm well aware that people were upset that we didn't stream it. All I can do is probably on the back end after we made that decision, apologize. Probably looking back, seeing how passionate everybody is about it, probably should have done it. But everything this summer was just about doors closed, blinders on, let's grow as a team, let's get better. It's been about us and business. And that was my mentality when we got together on June 5th. We decided to come on this trip. It was going to be the same thing. But I admit, I'm wrong, and I can be convinced otherwise. And Dana, she's the best in the world at what she does, and she asked me on 2 or 3 occasions whether I wanted to do it, and I just made the decision that we're not. I apologize to Coordination. Next time we do this, I promise. We'll promise we'll air it.
So that was Coach Kelsey's response.
Bah humbug.
So,
and that's my response. Bah humbug. You've been here long enough to know what Card Nation is like.
First of all,
you've been here long enough to know that, well, I didn't think people was going to be that hurt. Of course you did.
First of all, Haven Harrington, the fact that he called the Louisville fans Louisville Nation and then Cardinal Nation. Coach, you've been here 2 years now.
Come on, bro.
It's Card Nation, bro. It's Card Nation. It's not Louisville Nation. It's not Cardinal Nation. Card Nation. That's first of all.
Even with that being the case, you've been here long enough to know. I mean,
to act like you were surprised that people were going to be upset that there was basketball being played and they weren't going to let us watch it.
That is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That is that makes no sense at all. I didn't think people would be this upset. I don't know what. Come on, bruh. I mean, come on now.
So, hey,
come on now. I bet that's weak sauce.
So let me tell you what this tells me. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what this tells me. Listening to that audio and just hearing what he said and how he said it, I'm going to tell you that this is what this tells me. This is what Pat Kelsey said without saying it. I know that getting to the second round of the NCAA tournament last year was not good enough. I know that people are pissed off about the Michael Brown situation. And I know that this is going to be a make or break year for my reputation. And basically what Coach Kelsey has tried to do was say, you know what, because this season is so important, I don't want any distractions. All I want to do is just huddle all my guys together, coach my team, and just everybody leave me alone because I cannot fail this year. And that's an admirable thing, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that mentality because you appreciate the fact that the gravity of what this season in 2026, 2027 means is a lot to Pat Kelsey's legacy, right?
Or it could be, I'm still not sure exactly what I have yet. And I'm not still quite sure how all these pieces of the
no, I don't think that's it at all. I think Pat Kelsey feels like he's sitting.
Then why are you scared?
On pocket 8. But this is the whole point, right?
Then why are you scared?
Because let me explain why. Pat Kelsey, and the problem is this, and this is what I was going to say. That's an admirable thing that you want to focus. You want to make sure you don't screw this up. You understand how important this is. But the problem is that would be fine if you were still at the College of Charleston, that you want to huddle in, you want to just circle the wagons and just get ready for the fall. That's fine if you're at College of Charleston, because at the end of the day, the Charleston fans, they don't care about basketball the way Louisville fans care. You are not only the head coach of Louisville men's basketball, you are the face of the university. And when you are the captain of such an important, probably the most important fixture of this city, you can't do that. You can't say, I need to circle the wagons and get really serious and really, really prepare. Yes, you need to do all that, but you still have to be a showman. And you still have to go out there and put a product out there. And anytime there's an opportunity for any sort of public engagement, you have to do that. That's part of the reason you get paid what you get paid. That's part of the reason that Louisville can charge the ticket prices that they charge and the donorship fees that they can charge, is because this is what is expected, this is what is demanded, and this is what is required of the position. So to me, Pat Kelsey absolutely only did this whole foreign trip, Haven Harrington, for those 10 extra practices and the unlimited practice time that comes with going on a foreign trip. So Pat Kelsey wanted all of the good that comes out of that, but he didn't want to deal with any of the public part of it, right? Like, he wanted to take a public scrimmage because of the extra practice it gave him, but he really didn't want to share anything. And you can't do that if you're the head coach of the University of Louisville. And so he hears the footsteps and he hears the murmurs, and he's not happy with how things have gone. Even though Louisville completely has done a 180 from what it was when he took over for Kenny Payne, he understands that this is a very important season. But while you are under that pressure and while you are under that scrutiny, you still have to come out, have a big smile on your face, and you got to roll that squad out there, especially against the Bahamas raw talent, pummel them and put it on there for the whole world to see. And do not cancel the second game because Louisville was selling $4,000 ticket packages to go down there with the promise of 2 games, and you go down there and you cancel that second game because you just don't want any information about your team out there. That was very weak. That was just a terrible misstep, and it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
But I understand.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Scared money don't make money.
Yeah.
Scared money don't make money. And this is just weak sauce.
I mean, it is.
This is just straight weak sauce, and it makes your job, in the end, it makes your job harder. And that's going to be the issue, because people are going to like, man, if he's hiding everybody, I mean, you got that Lamborghini in the garage.
Yeah. What's the point of keeping it in the garage? You got to pull that joker out every chance you get and ride it around town. I mean, with the top down.
I mean, but it's like, he's winning by 50, but he canceled a second game. Like what does that mean? That just caused all sorts of doubts and people in
and then the whole point, Haven, that they said the reason that they canceled the second game is because of they didn't have enough available players because they have a couple of guys out with injury. Dude, the shoulder surgery that the knee surgery for Carter Knox and shoulder surgery for Obenekisi happened in like February. You already knew these guys were out.
I mean,
it's well before the game.
It's the Bahamian team. Like, what are you afraid of? Like, how much competition can he put up anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, how much competition he will put? I mean, even he went down there with just 7 dudes.
I mean, you have Arkansas playing 4 games down there this weekend.
No, and my thing is, if you're really trying to get your team ready,
yeah,
wouldn't playing more games, not against yourself, be really what you want?
Absolutely.
And especially if you have, I mean, like, even if it only took like 7 dudes, you spent all that money to fly down to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
For 1 game.
Yeah.
That is a tremendous amount of money you spent for 1 game. For the athletic department, it's already stretched thin anyway. That makes no financial sense. You want to get the most bang for your buck. Like, why not play 2 or 3 games while you're down there?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, so first of all, the fact that the reasoning for why they canceled the second game was BS. Yes, we know those guys were hurt. You knew those guys were hurt when you announced the 2-game event, and you asked fans for $4,000 to go down there and watch it. So you knew all this beforehand. So canceling it, that's bullcrap. And secondly, the fact that U of L said, well, we were going to broadcast the game, but financially just didn't make any sense. That was bullcrap as well, because Flow Sports, which was the group that's televising all the other schools' events, they were willing to do everything in terms of broadcasting the games for free. But the problem was they said that the Louisville people weren't going to get any kickbacks off of it. So because Louisville wasn't going to get any kickbacks from Flow Sports, they just decided they weren't going to do it. But all that, once again, was just an excuse for the fact that Pat Kelsey does not want anybody to see his team. And like you said, Haven Harrington, the silliest thing about that is after about 3 games, you're going to have all the data and information about Louisville basketball.
Which anyway,
that's out there.
And it won't matter.
So what was the point of that? In a 40-game season, at most, Louisville's going to play 40 games to see if they make it all the way to the title game. So in a 40-game season, what difference does those first 3 games make?
None. And the other thing is, it's like your fan base needs to learn who the team is.
Yes.
And with all new players, except for 2, nobody knows what these guys, unless you're like a super basketball nerd, you really don't know what these guys look like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You barely know their names. It's going to take you at least about 4 or 5 games to kind of realize who's who.
Louisville fans want that. They want it. They want it.
It just makes this just seems like a big, colossal misstep. And And honestly, I think this just puts more pressure on Pat Kelsey because if you're hiding it because you have such a great team and you feel that you need to hide them away until that very first game of the season, then you better win.
That's
better win because it'd be different. Like if we could watch the games, break it down. It's like, you know what, we thought we had a big inside presence, but these guys maybe not the talent that we thought they were. He may have to grow into his talent. You can kind of you can start making those comparisons. So when the season happens, and you can see, you know what, we did see that, but we just didn't really pay attention to it. Okay, I see what's going on here. You don't have that anymore. Now it's like you better start, burning the barn from jump. Because people see that, you got the number one transfer portal class, you got the number one center. That I want to see him.
Yeah,
I want to see him. I better start seeing domination from game one, and we better not lose to quote unquote bigger teams or tougher teams.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's fair. I mean, and this is I agree with you. Like there was going to be a tremendous amount of pressure on Pat Kelsey this coming year, and both from the fan base wise and from donor wise, because Louisville definitely went out there and basically gave Pat Kelsey an open checkbook and was like, whatever you need to get this team to that next level and to get them back to the Final Four, we're going to give you. So there's a lot. He understands the pressure. And like I said, that's the thing about it. It's admirable because he understands the pressure and he's doing everything he feels he needs to prepare to succeed. But you can't this is just, I'm not saying this is a sign of things to come or this is an issue, but this is definitely something that you did not handle the pressure well. Because as the Louisville head coach, you've got to be able to handle that pressure with grace and style, because that's part of the job. That's what the job requires.
And that's what you said in your press conference, your opening press conference. So you knew what it's like.
Like to say that I couldn't believe that the fans really had that appetite for basketball. It's like,
that's
what?
Crazy.
That's just
makes no sense.
That's bull crap. It's just bull. That's bull.
But this is, to me, like,
I love you, coach. That's bull crap.
But to me, like, this is just such weak sauce. And it doesn't. Here's the thing, right? I mean, the narrative's out there that, you're a good coach.
Yes.
But you have almost zero tournament success.
Yes.
Like last year was the first time in coaching history that you won a tournament game. And, with the roster you had, everybody thought that this was going to be a Final Four team at the beginning of the season, that you have Final Four talent. And you just kind of stumbled across the finish line. The year before that, you had a ton of injuries. We get that.
You had a good season.
You had a good season. You got a bad draw with Creighton. Obviously, another big guy that you didn't have any idea what to do with. And you got your doors blown off.
Yeah. I mean, I would categorize his tenure so far as the Louisville head coach has been solid, not spectacular.
But
solid.
It's solid, but what I was getting at, it's come across as soft. Like you're you're a soft coach, and your team, because teams reflect their coaches, right?
Yeah,
and you have a soft team, and it's reflection on, and this just kind of feeds into that your softness.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. And
it doesn't help your reputation as, man, this guy, Louisville's going to be talented. But if you push him,
there's a level of swag that comes with being the Louisville head coach, and he's not living up to that swag level.
Well, the thing is, like, if you push him, if you lean on him, if you beat him up a little bit, they're coward.
We want to see him come out like the jet flying, Space Mountain riding.
I mean, the man doesn't have to come like full Ric Flair.
But you want that swag though. You want the Louisville head coach to carry himself with like.
And the thing is, like he's shown swag, right? Comes to videos and everything else, dancing locker room.
What did Tony Stark say? He said, people say the best gun is the one you don't have to fire. He says, I respectfully disagree. I believe that the best gun is the one you only have to fire once. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like you want to go out there and be like, y'all don't want to mess with. I'm going to show you what I got. Yeah, and now you don't want none of that.
And but now it's just like this is such weak sauce. It just makes you seem so much. It makes you seem softer.
He definitely hears the footsteps. And that's what I think. The biggest thing about this whole situation, and guess what, Haven? If they would have decided to not do the foreign trip, it almost would have been better if they just decided not to do it. You know what I mean? Because all it did was kind of display to me personally that you are all not necessarily in your own head, but you definitely are feeling the pressure, and it's already impacting you with some of your decisions. You know, and that was not necessary. And at the end of the day, it won't matter because I do think that this is going to be an outstanding team this year.
I mean, on paper, yes.
But, it definitely shows me that he's thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like he's understanding how important this is, but you need to understand who you are. You're not just Joe Schmo. You're not just a nobody. You're the head coach of the University of Louisville basketball program, and you need to carry yourself as such. And I think that he fell below that standard in terms of his public persona. Not the biggest thing in the world, not a big thing at all, honestly, because it's July, now August 1st. So at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What you're doing and how you're moving in the summertime really doesn't matter as long as when those lights come on and, the ball tips for that first exhibition game, in Lawrence for, the Kansas Jayhawks, which unfortunately they announced are going to be on a Wednesday evening. So that just puts a crimp in my plans to go there because I'm like Wednesday night. Like they couldn't have put it on a Saturday. Really? You couldn't have put it on a Saturday?
I mean, well,
a Wednesday night in Lawrence, Kansas. I don't know if I can swing that, Haven.
I mean, college basketball is like, never mind. I'm not going to get into it, but
I know you were about to about to have your chance to take a shot.
Oh, I was about to take a big shot too. I was about to take a big shot.
But I mean, as long as you're ready to go, on game one in Lawrence, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. But this at least gave me a window into Pat Kelsey's mental state right now. And a lot of people I feel like may have missed that, not paid, because most people are like, who cares? It's just an exhibition against the Bahamas team in July. And yes, you're absolutely right. In terms of the game and in terms of team prep, at the end of the day, that is a very small blip that is basically meaningless.
But this is tone setting.
Yes, but this whole scenario and everything and how Louisville has moved for about the last week and a half leading up to it, and then, the comments afterward at least just gives me a window into the mind and the mentality of Pat Kelsey.
I mean, to me, like this is all about tone setting. This is
yes,
and this is also about a man, as you said before, who's under the gun.
Yes, he understands it though, but like
he feels the pressure.
Is that a good thing though, Haven? Like to me, I feel like that's at least a good thing because he understands how important this season is. Would you rather him be like completely flippant and just like he doesn't really care and he's just like, hey, we're gonna go out here and get on some jet skis and would you rather that or I would rather him because he was like, no, this is a business trip, blinders on, we don't have time for playing, we don't have time for sightseeing, we just came down here to get some basketball in and get right back home. Like, would you rather him be like overly relaxed or do you like the fact that at least he's like,
Here's the thing, I like the fact that you
cracking the whip.
Well, I like the fact that you understand the pressure.
Yes.
But I would rather have you rise up and meet that challenge with, yes, I get the pressure. I get that I have to win. I know this is a make or break year, but you know what? I went on the off season. They gave me all the money I needed. I got the coaching staff I needed. Here I come. Look at this.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Absolutely. I agree.
I would have that type of bravado than, I'm going to keep it all to myself. I'm going to scurry away. I'm going to hide what I have here. And then when we get to Lawrence, Kansas, you're going to see what I really have. But then you still really won't see what you really have because it's just an exhibition game. So you never know exactly like what they're, you know what I'm saying? Like what they're doing. Because we've seen some exhibition games last year where it's like, oh my God, these guys look dominant.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that no, they were just like not playing like their full team, or they were just like they just wanted to focus on this aspect of their squad and not really,
Yeah. No,
that's do everything. So even the exhibition game, you still don't know exactly what your team.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering you had a potential starter in Carter Knox not playing, and you had your number one center, Obenakizi, still dealing, recovering from shoulder surgery. So,
yeah. And with that, and even when they play, you may not, maybe one of those things like, you know what, I really want to focus on this, this aspect of our game. Like I want to focus on driving and doing this, getting buckets, being more physical. But the season starts.
Yes,
it may be like, okay, now we focused on that. Now we're going to go back to what we really want to do is inside out, and we're going to pound it inside. But I really want to see these guys get open for threes, and we want to shoot at least like 45 threes a game or something crazy. You just never know. Like you just never really know until like the season actually starts. Even the exhibition game, yes, you're playing against Kansas. Yes, you're playing against a talented team, but you still are not going to get the full flavor of your team, which is why having those games behind us, you can kind of see these guys. You kind of get an idea for
see who works well together. Just rotations. See what the freshmen have. And then that's my thing.
But to me, it's more about just learning your team.
Like, how fun would it have been if he took that second game and was like, you know what? We got to see London Johnson. We got to see Jackson Shellstad. Let's start Isaac Ellis. Let's start Boyang Zhang. Let's start some of these young guys and see what they can do.
Yeah.
If we give them 25, 30 minutes, Yeah. Why not have fun with it?
But more importantly, your fan base learns your team.
Yes.
Because right now, let's be honest. Unless you're who's a basketball nerd.
Of course.
Honestly, like most guys have no idea what these guys even look like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't know what they play like. Like we've heard Boyan Zane is like a great player. And everybody's like, man, Cardinal Nation, once you give him time to play and he kind of gets in the system, you're going to be surprised.
Yeah, but being afraid against playing Bahamas raw talent back-to-back nights is kind of...
It's weak. That's what super weak sauce.
It is. But I tell you what, we are definitely late for our first break. Let's go ahead. Let's hit the break, Haven Harrington. On the other side, you asked the question, what can you really take out of this? There are a couple of takeaways that I feel like give me some good feelings rolling into the fall as we get prepared. But you are listening to Wake Up 502, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, and we'll be right back on the Big X. And welcome back in 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. Raashaan Myers, Haven Harrington, taking care of you this morning, talking all things Louisville athletics as well as all the wonderful things going on in the world of sports. Haven Harrington, I just got to say, man, shout out to everybody. The coverage of, reading the box score, the live box score, as things were happening on Tuesday was very entertaining. I worked my
You're 9 to 5.
My 9 to 5, and I took off after at noon, so I could follow along and just watch everything as things got going at 2. And the state of Louisville guys, man, Ryan Keeling and Alan Thomas, shout out to them. They did a great job. It was very entertaining. I didn't watch them live when they were broadcasting during the game, but I went back and watched the video because they streamed it live on X. And I just went back and just watched them do it as they went through and just the kind of the conversations. And it's just wild that, U of L put everybody through the paces, but kudos to them. Kudos to Ethan Moore. He was on 93.9 doing it as well, kind of live broadcasting. And I just love, there are very few places in the country, Haven Harrington, that's going to take the time to read, plays as they come across stat broadcast. You know what I mean? And just literally did it live. So just shout out to everybody. Shout out to State of Lou. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. So I just wanted to shout them out. But before the break, you asked the question of, what really can we take out of this game outside of those interesting comments by Pat Kelsey? And, the answer to me is, I feel like in terms of your starters, in terms of the guys that are going to be your game in and game out guys, I feel like what they're going to give you. I feel like guys like, like Flory Badunga. Are you surprised, Haven Harrington, that Flory goes out there and gives you, 18 points, 10 boards, 6 blocks, a bunch of assists, 4 assists. He's an All-American. I know that Kentucky people have been on this whole tirade of saying that Flory Badunga is a 6'7" center. Dude, he's a first-team All-American. He's going to be that. Louisville has that. And the fact that Louisville basketball is going to have the first-team All-American center, that's wild because I don't know how many times that's happened in the history of the program. Maybe twice, maybe. I can think of maybe Purvis and Felton Spencer.
Go ahead, Samaki Walker.
You did have Samaki Walker, who would have been right there, but it's been very, very rare. So the fact that, Louisville has an All-American in their starting lineup is amazing. Anytime you have one of those guys, you're going to have a shot to win every game that you step on the court, period. That's just the end of the day. So, but I feel like you understand what a guy like him is going to give you. You understand what an Alvaro Fulgaris is going to give you. You don't really know what he's going to do in the system, but you kind of understand that. Same thing with Jackson Shelstad. I know a lot of people were kind of freaking out because Jackson didn't shoot the ball well. He was 1 of 9 from 3, 3 of 13 from the field. Not worried about him at all. Dude is literally a scorer. That's what he does. That's what he did at Oregon. That's who he is as a player. So the fact that he's not shooting, to me, if he would have if he would have come out in this game and had 6 or 7 turnovers and those types of things, that would worry me. But, only had 2 turnovers in the game, still shaking off, coming back from the wrist surgery and everything else. So I'm not worried about the starters for the most part. What I was interested in, Haven, is seeing the guys who either A, have never played, how those guys would respond, or guys that are your deep roster guys, right? Like your depth pieces. Because for some of these guys, the questions were, how would these guys be ready for action? Would these guys fit? Can they play? And the returns for those types of players, I thought all those guys had really good days. First and foremost, Haven Harrington, I'm going to tell you something. London Johnson can play basketball. That was a guy who, if you remember, the talk was last year, because of course London Johnson came at midseason last year, transferred in from the G League. He was one of the first G League guys to announce he was going back to college. And you remember while London was here, there was conversations about him possibly joining the team and playing to help kind of back up the point guard spot because, you had Michael Brown who was dealing with injuries, and maybe London could come in and give Louisville some life. And ultimately that didn't happen. And it feels like after that happened, people really started to doubt whether London Johnson could play at this level, whether he was going to be an impact player. Is he going to be can he even play basketball? Because he decided he wasn't going to play for Louisville last year. And all of the conversations that I have heard coming up, leading up to the game in the Bahamas on this past Tuesday, was that London Johnson had been playing really well and that he had been holding his own and he was playing as one of the best players on the court. And he was announced with the starters, in the game on Tuesday night, which I feel is a very positive. That's a positive sign that not only were the murmurs that he's playing well, but that's kind of confirmation that he's been playing well. But then he comes out in the game and played really well. 4-6 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 7 rebounds. That's solid. That's very solid. On the boards, being aggressive, getting to the free throw line, shot 6 free throws, second most free throw attempts on the game. Kind of lived up to that reputation. People said that, he's a guy who's very aggressive, getting to the basket, very physical guard. The biggest thing he needs to work on is 3-point shot. Well, he showed the ability to be a physical guard, getting to the free throw line 6 times, and he hit 2 of 3 from 3. So for me, that debut of London Johnson is basically confirmation that the guy has had a very strong offseason. So that's exciting. That's something to take away from that. Like London, to me, the guys that I really loved, London Johnson, I love what I saw from him. Another guy that I wanted to see what he could do and how he would, fit with a Coach Kelsey system was Gabe Dines, the 7'5" guy from USC. Did not play as much for Eric Musselman that he did when he was still at Youngstown State, where, he was 2-time defensive player, all defensive team and defensive player of the year his second season. Didn't play that much for USC, so just wondered what he was going to look like and what position he was going to play. I found it very interesting, first of all, Haven, that there was a lot of time where Gabe Dines played next to Flory Badunga, where basically they took Flory from the center spot, moved him over to the 4, and played Gabe at the 5, which to me signals, because people have fairly, and Haven, what have you said? The fact that Louisville has this reputation under Kelsey of being a little bit soft, right? And, especially on the inside and the interior, kind of not having a lot of toughness and physicality. Well, if you're willing to play Flory at the 4 for extended minutes, and I'd say that, there was at least, 15 to 18 minutes of the game where Gabe Dines and Flory Badunga played on the court at the same time. That tells me that this is going to be a fundamental change in what Louisville basketball looks like in 2026, 2027. So I feel like that is very positive because, people wondered, especially with Obina Ekezie, what is that going to look like? Is there going to be an opportunity where Ekezie and Flory are going to be on the floor together? And people said, well, the only way that's going to happen is if Louisville feels comfortable moving Flory to the 4. And because he's not a shooter, we understand Pat Kelsey likes shooters. Is that going to happen? To me, that's once again another thing I can take out of this game from Tuesday is that, yes, Flory Badunga is definitely going to play some 4 this year, which opens up the opportunity to have Ekezie and Badunga on the court together a lot, which is exciting. And not only did that confirm the fact that Louisville's going to look to get a lot bigger and play with some double big lineups, Gabe Dines, in the time he was out there, he was only out there for 14 minutes, had 9 rebounds, 3 block shots, a couple steals, was very, very active, and scored 6 points. So like he played really well, and that doesn't surprise me. Gabe is very efficient around the rim. He's, I think he shot over 70% from the field every year he's played college basketball. So that doesn't surprise me that he was, efficient around the rim. Just more so the fact that he got the 9 rebounds, which is a lot. Which is something that he's not necessarily had a reputation for. And I understand the level of competition has something to do with that, but I like for him to be efficient in those minutes. So I thought that Gabe had a very strong showing. I love the fact that Gabe and Flory played together. I think that's something you can take out of it. And the other guy that I feel like you can take a lot out of is Isaac Ellis. Isaac Ellis is a guy who's been getting a lot of compliments, and the staff has been very complimentary of him since he got here, talking about how tough he was, how physical he was, how he's unafraid. And I think he showed that in the game. Against the guard in Bridgewater, who's very, very talented. We talked about how good he is. Isaac, seemed to really come out, control the team. He was very aggressive defensively, which is was the question. Was we understand that Isaac, is the all-time leading scorer in OTE. His history, he's the all-time leading assist guy. Can he play defense? And, Isaac came out there, was very pesky on defense, had 5 steals in the game, seemed to control the tempo pretty well and play well. 3 assists, no turnovers. So, all of those numbers look really, really good. So, when you ask me, what can you get out of it? Does it at least make sense? I'm not looking at the starters. I want to look at the guys that are the depth pieces, the guys that are going to be, Isaac's probably going to be your third point guard. Gabe's going to be your third big man. But seeing what those guys could do, and at least seeing that the conversations and the talk in the offseason is at least displaying itself on the court. Does that make sense?
It's always good to get your depth some run. Right?
Yeah.
It's always good to get your depth some run and to let those guys do what they do and to get experience, to get used to playing different combinations. It just would be nice to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
It just would be nice to see how these guys, because, looking at a box score is one thing, but it would have been nice to see how they got to that box score.
Yes. See how they work the ball around.
Yeah.
Were they working inside to out? I mean, a lot of times last year, Louisville was basically all perimeter, throw the ball around the perimeter, the whole possession, and then jack up a 3. Were they actually looking to get the ball to Flory every possession? You know what I mean? Were they working inside that? Were they throwing the ball down to Gabe Dines and working it around? You know what I mean? Those types of things would have been nice to see.
And what kind of post moves when they got the ball, did they have?
Yes.
Or was it just the guys were playing against were so overmatched it wouldn't matter? I could score on them.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
But they got work, so that's a positive.
Yeah.
But to me, this is so remember, was it last year the Louisville football season where we saw them play East Kentucky and and they blew them out 51-17, right?
Yeah.
What they should have done. But from watching that game, you could still kind of see.
You can see, yes, there were things you could take away from it.
There's some things you take. There's some cracks that you can see.
Yes.
It's whoa, Bill Moses' arm may not be as devastatingly strong as we thought it was going to be.
Even against the worst of competition, I feel like there are definitely things that
there's things you can see.
You can glean. Yeah.
So, going to the season, so as the season progressed and you kept seeing those things, come back, then you're okay, we saw hints of this against Eastern.
Yeah.
And now it's really showing its head. So you were kind of prepared for it. Once again, with all the weak sauce and being soft and being afraid to show what you got, come the season, you're going to kind of start taking people by surprise.
Yeah.
Which is never a good thing. It's nice to know that we have these weaknesses and how you're going to cover up your weaknesses. That's what it's all about. That's what coaching is literally what it's all about. Finding your weaknesses and they're trying to mask those weaknesses as they're exploited throughout the season.
And unfortunately they didn't, we weren't able to get that, but at the end of the day, I feel like it was a successful trip. Everybody's healthy. And now we just get to the other side of it. But I tell you what, Haven Harrington, we are up against it. Let's go ahead. Let's hit the top of the hour break. When we come back, we have some big news on the college landscape. A lot of that going on. We're also going to have a special guest coming in as well. So much more to get into. This is Wake Up 502, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, and we'll be back on the Big X. 502. Raashaan Myers, Haven Harrington, taking care of you this morning. A little bit of You Got the Touch coming back off the break. Haven Harrington was giving me some wonderful news.
Wonderful.
In the break, so I got very, very excited to hear that. And of course, anybody a child of a certain age, of a certain era, knows exactly where that song's coming from.
I mean, like, we can share the news. I mean, it's no big deal because September 17th, they're going to re-release Transformers the movie, the animated one from 1986. It's going to be re-released, and they teased on a trailer that there may be like an added scene or two.
I love it. I love it.
I'm excited. I mean, if anybody who's seen, like, I know, like, the younger generation likes Michael Bay's take on Transformers, but nothing beats the original 86, like, heavy metal influenced theme, like the high energy of, like, the original Transformers from 86.
Absolutely. No, 1,000%. I mean, that was one of the defining moments of my childhood. It was both wonderful and horrifying all at the same time. Like the
amount of carnage in the first in the first like 45 minutes of that movie is insane.
First 10 minutes of the movie, like just watching all of your heroes die horrible deaths right in front of your face as a 8-year-old, 9-year-old child was something that I will never forget. But I am also very excited for that. Now, let me ask you, Haven, did you enjoy the Transformers 1 that came out a couple years ago?
I did. My daughter and I watched that again just like a couple days ago. And this is her first time seeing Transformers 1.
Oh, okay.
And she loved it. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it did a very good job of, it was a kid's movie, but I thought it did a very good job of explaining, like, the comic book origins of Prime and Megatron, how that whole thing kind of went down.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well done.
Well, good. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was very well, I thought it was very, very well done. And it did, because, you told me actually a lot of the lore of, the origins of Megatron and Optimus, which I didn't know. We on our long road trips to Tallahassee or Clemson, we talk about all types of things. You all think that the radio show's good. Well, let me tell you something. The car rides are hilarious. Yes. So we get into all kinds of conversations, and you kind of told me the origins of where Prime and Optimus came from, and then to see Transformers 1 basically just put out there and lay out the story that you had told me, it was really awesome to see. So yeah, it was really cool. So I'm excited about that. So we had to pay a little homage to
the OG,
to the OGs, to the, like I said, the most wonderful, horrifying experience of my whole childhood. Like, just to think back, 86 was just a rough year, man. You had Transformers and you had the Challenger crash. Like, both of those things happened within like 2 or 3 months of one another. Like, that was whew. As a 8-9-year-old Haven Harrington, I had some very dark times.
Hey, but you know what? 3 years later, in '89, you probably had the greatest year in hip hop history. So
fair. That's fair. Right around the corner. Just give it some time, and things always get better. But I tell you what's also going to get better. We're going to get to your text 502-414-1450, as well as your messages on YouTube and Facebook. We got messages coming in on X. We got messages coming in on YouTube. So let's go ahead get to those first, just because we've been running our mouths about this Louisville basketball team, and then I want to ask Haven Harrington about some of these things that have been announced with the college landscape. But first, Q checking in first this morning. So what's up, Q? He texted us at 9:02. I love it. He was ready this morning. Said, good morning, fellas. He says, all this chaos in the NCAA, and we still haven't hung our banner up. Yeah, I mean, people are just getting new life. Players are playing that are out of eligibility, and
guys playing 12 years out of college.
We got everybody's making money. Like, at what point does Louisville's banner?
Just hang it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just hang it.
The NCAA is not even going to be around soon. So, like,
what does it matter?
Yeah, like, literally, like, who cares? Let's see. We got Anthony Eason checking in on YouTube. So what's going on, Anthony? Appreciate you listening. He says, Myers, you think we should try to add another player after this new ruling? Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Anthony. So just as an FYI, it was announced last night that there was some judge, Charlotte such and such. I don't even know what her last name was, but Judge Charlotte, let's just call her that, made the decision that she was going to rule that all athletes from the class of 2022 are now eligible for a fifth year. So, of course, as you know, they ruled that college athletes. It was Charlotte Sweeney is the lady's name. Starting in 2026, 2027, the NCAA ruled that you'll have 5 years to play five. So basically they gave all athletes competing a fifth year of eligibility. Well, there have been a lot of players from this past season that have been whining and crying and going and getting injunctions all around the country to try to lobby for their eligibility. Well, this judge said, bump it. Instead of me just working on behalf of one or two players, I'm just going to make the whole talent pool for all sports open for all seniors that just left that were, from the class of 2022. So basically guys who were true seniors who had only played 4 years. Guys and girls, excuse me. So this isn't just for basketball, y'all. This is for football, women's basketball. I don't care if you're talking about rowing or skeet shooting or whatever sports are out there. You name it, if you were a senior and you've only played 4 years, you now have a fifth year of competition. Haven Harrington.
That's just crazy. That's just crazy.
And you're doing it a month before the start of most, and you have some sports that have already started or are about to start. Volleyball, I think their first game is in like 17 days. And it's like now you have all these seniors that are now eligible again. Like, that just seems a little bit insane. Does that Haven, what do you think about that? Like, to just drop that news out of the blue. What are teams going to do? Most teams have already prepared and gotten together all their rosters. I mean, school starts in like 2 weeks.
What this means is that your big money sports and your big money leagues, if they can find a high level athlete, they're going to go out there and grab them and add them anyway. Who cares? This is like a free agency part 2.5. That's what I would do. Like if I was like a basketball, like if I was doing basketball and I had an extra roster spot open, and all of a sudden I can go now and get seniors from the class of 2022. If I can find me like another 3-point sharpshooter, I'm grabbing them.
I mean, it's just crazy. Like, so let me ask you, like, you're the football guy, and I know it's, to trying to keep the roster straight is crazy. Is there anybody who just immediately jumps into your head from the football team from last year that you would love to have back? Is there just anybody who just comes to your mind? I feel like that answer is not going to be Miller Moss. So
it's not going to be Miller Moss.
Is there anybody that just jumps into? There's one guy that I saw on Twitter that jumped to, that was mentioned, and I think it's a great one. I just wondered if there was anybody just off the top of your head that you thought of.
Who was the guy that was mentioned?
D'Angelo Hutchinson.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to have an extra year of Hutch out there. D'Angelo Hutchinson was a baller. He was kind of your hybrid safety, played both free and strong safety for the Cards last year. Was an absolute demon.
So, but here's the thing, though, right? You have to grab somebody that doesn't have like a realistic shot of playing in NFL or making any type of money. If you're looking for football players, that you can.
I mean, but honestly, wouldn't it be easier to find a football player than a basketball player? Like any of the guys that were actually really good, you would think they're either already playing for some team or have contracts with teams in Europe, or you're on an NBA team and heading to fall camp trying to make a roster.
Well, it depends. Like if you can offer them more money what they're making the pros, they'll come.
I guess, yeah. I mean, that's the thing I wonder. Like, so, like,
for the hardest thing, like the NFL, the hardest thing be guys who have got either drafted or have made a team.
Well, you may fall camp. Like Hutchinson's a perfect example. So, like, Hutch, I don't know if he made it into a fall camp, but let's just say D'Angelo Hudson was like he didn't have a guaranteed spot, but he was in the Steelers fall camp, so he's going to be going through the preseason, NFL preseason for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Like, what do you do in that situation? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's hard because one, how much money left over does Louisville have to offer? Because
and they have drop dates for college. College players have to enroll. Enrollment dates are like literally right around the corner.
Well, they actually, and that's the other thing too. Like with these guys, especially guys playing 6-7 years, do they have to take like even a full load? They may have to take like one underwater basketball class, and that's and they may not.
I mean, that's fair. You could maybe be in NFL camp and just enroll for like classes and just take an online class.
Yeah, but the thing is though,
that's wild.
See, here's the hard part.
Yeah,
it's like. So you made the practice squad, or you didn't make the practice squad, but you made camp. So it's no guarantee you're gonna make the team. You're just in camp. So do you take that risk that you come back and play for another year? Yes, it could, maybe increase your status for next year, or you could get hurt and you just lost everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's like for me, like a guy like Isaac McNeely. Isaac McNeely was not drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, but he played pretty well in their with their summer league team. There's a chance, that he could be invited to camp in October as the Hawks start to ramp up for the season. If you're Isaac McNeely,
you definitely jump on the chance to go back to school.
Yeah,
because you make more money and you have a better shot at maybe showing what you can do.
Yeah.
So for a guy like Isaac McNeely, I'd definitely come back. Hutchinson, football's harder because there's only so many places that you can go play.
Yeah.
But you know what? This may be a chance maybe to grab some of those UFL guys from the Kings.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Like, I don't know how this whole thing is going to shake out, but, like, the fact that they dropped this, like, if they would have dropped this news in May.
Oh, it would have been completely different.
April, it would
have been completely different. I mean, but now. But still, like I said,
doing it this close to the regular season is insanity.
I mean, but but now you can go grab maybe one of those guys who played for the UFL. There were top-notch players that are still in the UFL.
Yeah.
You can maybe go grab some. There's a lot of guys you can probably second-tier guys that that haven't made a team but were still pretty good college players. I mean that is going to be wide open.
No, that's fair. I mean, and to me, I was
be interesting.
I was looking at there was a guy, the best wager, who dropped just kind of an idea of some of the players that would be out there that were undrafted free agents in basketball. And when you look up and down this list, there's a lot of all conference, players, of course, that were seniors this past year that now all of a sudden could possibly be back, in the mix. And it's insane. Guys like Kylan Boswell, who was a standout for Illinois, Toby Awaka, standout for Arizona. You talk about, of course, Braden Smith, all-time leading everything in the Big Ten. Could he come back and play another year? They're just talking about all these, and I don't like. It's just complete chaos for college athletics. It's complete chaos.
I mean, college athletics is pros without guardrails.
It's unbelievable.
It's just pro sports without guardrails.
My brain can't even comprehend all of this stuff,
and even they can't get the guardrails together. That's the sad part.
It's just the NCAA, because the NCAA was willfully ignorant and just decided to just not do anything, and just basically allow NIL to roll in with no rules, and to allow these eligibility situations to just roll in without making any sort of ruling. It's just made everything worse. I mean, even from the conference alignment stuff and the teams, just like everything in college athletics is just pure chaos now, because the NCAA was like, we're just not going to do anything. We're just going to continue to collect as much money as we can and just hopefully we can ride this thing until the wheels fall off.
And it is beyond chaos, and it's beginning to ruin the sport, because now it's come down to everybody trying to either join the SEC or the Big Ten.
Louisville has a player on their basketball team that's making more money than LeBron James this year.
That's crazy. I mean, but you just look at it, and it's like, the whole conference alignment issue. It's like everybody's trying to join the SEC or the Big Ten.
Yes.
Because if you're not a member of the SEC or the Big Ten, once money comes back down again, you're probably going to be left out. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be the Big Two and everybody else.
Well,
and it's like ruining the sport. What made college football and college basketball as well was like it was a very regional sport, right?
Yes.
And you had you had built-in rivals, and your rivals either were in-state or it's a next state over. Now you have conferences spanning from one coast to the other coast. You're losing, your rivalries. Your non-Olympic sports financially no longer make sense because it doesn't make sense for the rowing team in Piscataway, New Jersey, at Rutgers to fly all the way across country to row against USC because the amount of money is just financially doesn't make sense for a non-revenue sport, and it's just killing college athletics.
Well, I mean, and that's why, and this is very topical because, the Protect College Sports Act has been going through. We know that, we talked about it several weeks ago, how the University of Louisville was assisting in drawing up this legislation to try to save college athletics that would basically try to balance the field out, because we've just continued to see this continued inequity where basically the SEC and the Big Ten, for those who can see me on X or YouTube, are way up here, and I'm holding my hand way, way up high, and everybody else is down here by the desk, okay? And we've seen this continued inequity, and of course University of Louisville brought out this impassioned penning this letter basically to Congress a while back saying that like college athletics is not going to continue to exist if this continues. So basically this Protects College Sports Act is, for the better terms, creating a salary cap, right, for college athletics. So the spending would be capped to where teams could only spend X number of dollars, and it would be a hard cap. It would be something where you would only be able to spend so much for your full athletic program. From the way I'm understanding it, from some of the reporting from Ross Dellinger, basically has said that, right now the spending right now for college universities is about $21 million over all sports programs. Basically, that cap would double to around 43 mil. But that would be a hard cap, and they basically have tried to include documentation and legislation where there would be penalties for teams trying to circumvent that, a la the Los Angeles Clippers and Kawhi Leonard's salary. But, trying to talk about rules against trying to circumvent the cap and all that stuff. Because basically they're negotiating this. Of course, every other league has already put their backing behind it. But, of course, the Big Ten and the SEC were the two holdouts because they hold all the power. So, of course, that's gonna, for them to be able to come to the table, they're still going to have to figure out a way to have as much of an advantage as they can. And there's been a lot of conversation with it, but the big news that happened late yesterday evening was the fact that the Big Ten presidents and chancellors have now voted to support the College Act. So that means that the SEC stands alone as the only conference that has not put their support towards this bill. So, like, I would think, Haven, and you are much more abreast in the whole dealings with politics and all that stuff. To me, this feels like this puts a lot of pressure on the SEC to go along to get along.
Well, here's the issue that SEC's having, and one of the reasons they're kind of reluctant to do this sort of thing, and that's because of the myth of the SEC, right? SEC's always tout themselves as the greatest football conference of all time. They have more champions, college football. the regular season means way more than anybody else. They're the best, greatest conference until the playoffs start, and things kind of even it up. And then you find out that the Big Ten and the ACC have more playoff wins than SEC teams. But I digress. Actually, the Big Ten has all the championships.
Kind of crazy how things changed after Saban retired, huh?
I mean, the Big Tens have all the championships, and SEC has zero since the playoffs started.
Yeah.
So it's that. Yeah. Well, once things evened up, everything changed. But SEC doesn't want to give away some of what they perceive advantages. Able to pay guys and move money around because some of the things we talk about in this big bill and the Protect College Sports Act is one, allowing an athletic salary cap of more than $40 million across all sports.
Mm-hmm.
Preventing schools and or companies considered associate entities from front-loading NIL revenue sharing deals before players of high school. So what that means is, okay, we got this $40 million salary cap once they get into school. So before they enroll in school, let's give them all the money now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't count against the salary cap.
Yeah.
So SEC really doesn't want that one.
Yeah.
Letting the NCAA or another association impose stricter tampering rules. That's also a big one as well.
Yeah.
I think that's I think they call it that. If I'm not mistaken, that's like the Lane Kiffin rule, to where they're also going to make it so you can't poach coaches.
Yeah.
That are in the middle of a playoff run.
That's interesting.
Which should definitely happen. Barring any entity, i.e., like a private equity firm, from merging or acquiring power conference media rights to create a new conference of its own. Protecting conferences that decline to participate in media rights pooling from being sued. Letting power conferences, here's another big one, expand to 19 teams. So this is a bone to the Big Ten, to SEC, basically so they can pull the only 3 teams left. There's only 4 teams in the country left worth getting. Notre Dame, they're not joining any conference.
Yeah.
Clemson, Miami, Florida State.
Yeah.
So that's aimed at getting Clemson, Miami, Florida State out of the ACC. And I don't care what all the ACC apologists say. Once Clemson, Miami, Florida State leaves, the ACC to me is just an also-ran conference.
It's like the Big 12.
It's like the Big 12. It's an also-ran conference because now you have no teams in there that's won a national title. So there's that. Schools that made a certain amount of money, wherever that limit is required to uphold a certain number of women's athletic sports roster spots open.
I like that.
So you have to keep some Olympic sports and some women's sports. And there's an anti-merger provision was changed to to include all the power conferences and not just the Big Ten, SEC. So that way the Big Ten and SEC just couldn't merge together, create their own super league, and then leave everybody else out.
Yeah. So, I mean, the haves are still going to be the haves, and the have-nots are still going to be the have-nots, but there's at least this going forward with this bill would at least protect, because everybody's continued to talk about that whole, the power conferences breaking away from the rest of college athletics and just creating their own leagues and all that stuff. I think that it protects against that, and it basically puts a stop or a halt to the Big 10 and the SEC continuing to increase the gap between them and the ACC and the Big 12. So I think that it's overall, I personally think it's a good thing. I think that it's necessary, it's needed.
It's so needed, but this is something the NCAA could have done on their own years ago.
Absolutely.
And avoided all of this.
Yes, I agree.
But they were just too soft.
Yeah.
Too scared.
We don't like soft stuff on this show.
No, we don't.
On Wake Up 502, we're not about being soft.
And they're being scared. But it's something that has to happen because you can't see in the Big Ten literally just run roughshod over college athletics. And that's exactly what is happening.
Yes.
And what's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
And it was just going to get worse. Because, as a Louisville fan, it is the quote unquote next round of redistricting, if there is, Clemson and the already shown Clemson, Miami, and Florida State are gone. They have to take one other school from whatever conference to balance that out. I know North Carolina thinks that they're in the driver's seat to go someplace, but are they really? Because football is driving this bus, and North Carolina football is trash.
Yes, fair. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I love it. I'm happy that the Big Ten. Honestly, I'll tell you what, I love the fact that the Big Ten finally got on this side of it, and the fact that the SEC is having to be drugged to the finish line. I like that
because the Big Ten has shown that, as much as I hate the Big Ten, I mean, in a playoff era, they have shown that they are legitimately the big dog.
Yeah, yeah,
that they are. You know, the narrative has always been the SEC is better than Big Ten. The Big Ten is okay, but they have nowhere near the depth. They have nowhere near even the top end talent SEC.
I mean, the Big Ten started all this stuff by taking USC and UCLA and bringing them, basically killing off the Pac-12. At that point, they established themselves as
a top dog. Well, one, the TV contract makes more money than SEC, which has to be, I'm sure, a bone of contention for the SEC. So, they have a bigger and better TV deal. Even after adding Texas and Oklahoma, they still have a better TV deal. But in the playoff era, I mean, the Big Ten has been unstoppable.
Yeah, no,
they've literally been unstoppable. And SEC,
shout out Kurt Signetti.
And SEC has been very stoppable.
Yeah. No, it's fair, but it's something to continue to monitor. It's very interesting. It's going to be a very wild August. This August is going to see how this turns upside down. These collegiate rosters. I just want to see how much carnage there, because I have seen a million tweets this morning of this player's jumping in the transfer portal. This player, guys like Donovan Dent. Donovan's first team All-American.
I mean, but this is why Louisville's disappointing performance in football the past couple of years is just so damaging. Because if Louisville can find a way to beat Stanford and make a playoff run, even if we lose the first round of playoffs, the fact that we even made the playoffs puts you in a whole different level of conversation.
Maybe Louisville can go grab Carson Beck now and just let's go ahead and install him as the starter. Miami already paid all that money to Darian Minson, so let's just go ahead and snag Carson Beck back. How about that?
One more year.
I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, though, I mean, that's like Louisville's disappointing run and not making, the playoffs when they had a chance to. These things kind of come back to bite you. And it's biting us this season. That's why Louisville's not ranked as high as I think they should be in the preseason polls. So I think, and you can't be upset at them.
No, that's fair. That's 100% fair. But I tell you what, let's go ahead. Let's get this last break, Haven Hands. We got more texts and tweets and things coming in. So we're going to get to those on the other side. 502-414-1450. That is the Game Day Men's Health text line. Would love to hear from you, as well as on X and on Facebook and on YouTube, wherever you're watching the show. Would love to hear from you. This is Raashaan Myers of Haven Hands, and we'll be back with Wake Up 502. back. Last segment of the show. Wake up 502, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. And of course, you guys know that is to play homage to the latest edition of Spider-Man, just dropped in theaters Thursday evening. Spider-Man, brand new day. I have not had the opportunity to check this out as of yet. Y'all know I'm a humongous Marvel fan, so I will be rectifying that shortly. But Haven Harrington,
I'm going to tell you right now.
Yes, sir.
If you want to go watch this movie, man, you better get your tickets. Like, it may be even too late to get them now for this weekend, to be honest with you.
That's wild.
Because it is probably sold out everywhere. And so you may be able to find maybe like one ticket, but like if you want to go like with 2 or 3 people and you guys want to sit together, yeah, that may be a no-go for this weekend. You may have to wait till like sometime during the week in order to do that. I would suggest like the Great Escape in in Jeffersonville. They have some seats open that you could sit together and multiple seats. So you may want to try that, or you may want to go like early. They're like the early shows, like around 12, 11, 2, 3, 1, and catch it that way.
Yeah.
Because after 5 o'clock, no. I mean, it's not going to happen.
So let me ask, Haven, you've already got the opportunity. You were one of the early birds to check it out. So without, spoiling anything, just of all the Spider-Man movie, we know we got the Sam Raimi original trio, then of course you have the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies.
With Garfield.
With Andrew Garfield. And then you had, of course, these latest installments with Tom Holland. He's already got an original trio, and now this is his 4th movie. So now officially he has the most Spider-Man movies as an original Spider-Man. So what'd you think of it?
It's really good. Like it's really good.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it 96.
Yeah, it's
on Rotten Tomatoes. So
the expert of this is my daughter because she's a Spider-Man aficionado.
Okay,
and this is her favorite of all the Tom Hollands. This is her favorite Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, even better than No Way Home.
Yes.
Wow, I love No Way Home. I just watched that the other day. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, it is excellent. But this has like this pays homage. Well, doesn't pay homage, but it picks up right where No Way Home left off.
Okay.
So, with Spider-Man, he's alone. He hasn't seen MJ or Ned at all. Like every other kid his age, he's paying attention on social media, but refused to contact him. He's, and you get that sense of he's just doing this by himself.
Yeah.
Like he's a Spider-Man by himself, and the loneliness he feels. And
you know what I'm gonna say though?
This is a good movie.
He was very always for me. The Tom Holland Spider-Man always got on my nerves because he was way too happy. He was always way too happy-go-lucky. There was no Uncle Ben moment for him, and that always annoyed me. So with the way things went down in No Way Home and how that kind of turned his story to where it was kind of like delayed, not necessarily delayed gratitude, but just waited for his tragedy to strike. You know what I mean? Because every Spider-Man has his tragedy. Like that's part of the, that's the part of the story for Spider-Man. It's always the Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility thing, So it was kind of delayed for that. So I was always very interested to see where the story turned from there because his kind of tragic arc started a lot later than all of the other editions of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. So I cannot wait to see it. So
Now I'm also excited to see the conclusion of Miles Morales' story.
Oh yeah,
because to me, of all the Spider-Man movies,
yes,
that is, we count animation too because it's obviously animation.
Yeah, Spider-Verse. Yes.
To me, the Spider-Verse is like the gold. That's like the best. That's like the platinum standard.
Yeah.
Tom Holland's like gold standard, but that's like.
I have enjoyed the Spider-Verse. That's Enter the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse and now Across the Spider-Verse.
That's like platinum standard right there.
And they've said that Miles Morales is going to make his debut in the MCU. So
I'm excited. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to do the Doom. You know, with Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. I'm just kind of curious how they're going to retcon that, and I'm sure it's going to be something with they splintered the, the multiverse.
Yes.
And blah. I've always hated the multiverse concept. It just makes it just.
I love the multiverse concept because with the multiverse concept, you can bring in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and you can bring in Andrew Garfield from another universe. I love that because it brings all those old movies back and those old actors back.
Well, see, that's true, and that you can do. What I don't like about it is it leaves you with like alternate Earth history. So which alternate Earth are you on, and which heroes come from which alternate Earth, and it just brings a level of confusion.
It does.
And complexity that really doesn't need to be there, or that it's really hard to surmise in a 2.5 hour, probably Doomsday, a 3 hour movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but it also allows you to bring back old characters, which of course we know in comic books, like nobody ever stays dead. Like they always say, no one ever stays dead except for Uncle Ben. That is the rule of comic books. Uncle Ben never comes back, everybody else does. So, that's the thing with comic books, and it's like that's one of the things that people want to get upset because they're like, oh, you wasted Iron Man's death, oh, you wasted Captain America's happy ending. It's like, understand this, in comic books,
nothing's forever.
Nothing's forever. Nothing's ever final. So like, you just got to get over it. Like,
speaking of which, have you seen Supergirl?
I have not watched Supergirl yet.
Okay,
no. Well, have you seen that?
I have not. Not. I was kind of curious as to what your take was.
Well, it just got. I have not had taken the opportunity. I was lukewarm on Superman, so I have not been in a rush to see Supergirl. But I will definitely go check that out for sure. As well as He-Man, which dropped, Masters of the Universe dropped on Prime, so I want to check that out as well.
I did see Masters of the Universe on Prime.
Okay.
You know what? It was pretty good. It was actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Because He-Man hasn't really translated to movies like too well.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and say it was terrible.
I mean,
Dolph Lundgren and big hair.
That was the Dolph Lundgren one was that was bad. The whole musical note playing thing.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. That was
terrible. But 502-414-1450. That is the Game Day Men's Health text line. Definitely want to address the rest of you guys' text before we get out of here for the day. Texter says, yes, I totally agree with this one. Calipari is playing 4 games with 3 guys out and a nine man in the rotation. And he's playing 4 games. Yes, and that's my whole thing. Like, right, that's what we were talking about earlier with Kelsey. Kelsey's up there saying, well, I didn't want to play a second game because, we are short-handed. But, Arkansas is playing literally 4 games with 3 players out. And not available. And you know why? Because Coach Cal's is going to come out there and be Swaggy Cal and talk about how great his team is. He's like, not only am I going to play my guys, I'm going to let
Kenny Payne
coach the team. Yeah.
I have no respect for the Bahamas team. None. No respect. I'm like, Kenny Payne, he can't coach as well out of a wet paper bag with scissors for his hands.
But that's what you do, right? Like when you're a coach of a big time program, that's the way you move. You don't move like a scared little rabbit. And I'm not saying that Kelsey's a scared little rabbit. Everybody, for whatever reason, when I say anything, everybody likes to get on my neck.
I mean, I would say this was soft.
But it
was soft. It was just soft.
There was not as much confidence as I like to see from my head coach. I want exuding confidence. I want him to come out with sunglasses on, roll the team out there and be like, you know what, I'm just going to let Peyton Seaver coach. I'm going to sit over here, kick my feet up with my boat shoes on, and I'm just going to watch my boys do what they do. Like, that's what you need. That's the type of swag you're supposed to have in the Bahamas. Like, know you're good. Don't hope you're good.
Know it.
Exactly. All right. 502-414-1450. Texter says, Pat is just a good coach, not great. He is says he's a Calipari used car salesman. Says Shine Calipari? I don't know.
Sheen.
Sheen Calipari?
Sheen Calipari, man. Sheen.
What's that mean? Sheen Calipari.
Sheen, man, like the cheap clothes you buy from China.
Oh, okay.
Knockoffs.
Oh, okay. So he's like the Wish version. No, I mean, look, no. He's first of all, he is absolutely a used car salesman. He's very good at selling the dream. So like that's true. He's very that's how the most underrated aspect of Coach Kelsey.
Well, I would say this: he is a good coach.
He has gotten every player he's wanted in his 3 years. Just about.
I mean,
how many players has he not got?
I mean, like he's a good coach. He's gotten his players. The next step for him, though, is to see if he can make that transition from good coach to great coach.
And I think he's on the way. Like, to me, it took him an extra year for my liking to figure out what wins in terms of what you need to be an elite level team. But I give him that grace because the first year he had to put together a team based on what he could get. The second year, he could actually get what he wanted. So he wanted to see if his style would work,
And it wouldn't.
And he learned that it didn't. So this is his third year. He's learned what he actually needs to win. And I feel like he put together about the most perfect roster possible. Now, you know what? Some of that ability to put together a very good looking roster goes out the window when now you have all the 2022 players now back into the pool. So your great work putting together this roster gets watered down some, which annoys me a little bit, but what can you do about it? But yeah, I think that he's taking the natural progressions and steps. I would just like for him to have a little bit more confidence and believe in himself. Believe in your greatness, man. Like, grab that bull by the horns and just be like, yeah, I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? Just walk up and just drop that joker on the table and be like, yeah, here's mine. Where's yours? Like, you're a normal coach. That's what you're supposed to do. I just, that just a little bit, I need a little bit more swag from Coach. Texter says, good morning, Wake Up 502. Main event, back to school culture. Says, I was hoping Haven would have his Spider-Man t-shirt on today. Says, I saw the movie yesterday in 3D, and I'll give the movie a 4.5 out of 5. Says, don't want to give out any spoilers, but there is a post-credit scene. So he gives it a 4.5 out of 5. Haven Harrington.
It's a very lackluster post-credit scene. You can almost skip it. No, and you know what? I think that's a good rating. I mean, it is really good. It is really good. I hate the fact that the Marvel stumbled for so long because their past couple of Marvel movies actually been pretty good. Like the Thunderbolts, I thought was really good.
Well, they've been canceling all their black superheroes, so they were busy doing that.
I mean, they just recast the Black Panther.
Yeah, but they also cut Blade.
Well, actually, they're trying to get Blade back.
They got rid of He Who Remains.
They canceled Wonder Man.
They canceled Wonder Man. Can you believe they canceled Wonder Man?
I thought Wonder Man season 1 was pretty good.
Wonder Man it's up for like Academy Awards. Like, it doesn't make any sense on why they canceled Wonder Man, like at all. Like, but
I mean, all the Marvel TV shows they canceled, like Wonder Man would not have been it.
It's just not a good look when your 4 major cancellations all have black leads. That's all I'm saying, Haven Harrington. It does not look good. Can you at least agree with me there? Plus, Armor Wars was supposed to be, about.
With Riri Williams?
No, that's Ironheart. No, Armor Wars. Armor Wars was supposed to be about War Machine.
Okay.
And it was supposed to, Don Cheadle was supposed to be the lead in that. And now they're making it an Iron Man reboot instead. They made that decision as well. So, like I said, when your big major changes and adjustments all have to do with black superheroes, that's just not a good look. That's all I'm saying. Like, they can just say that it was just all coincidence, which it probably was, but it still does not look good.
There's other things I would cut first.
These are the decisions you're making. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Texter says, please tell me that La Familia is not about to win the TBT. Well, I mean, they're in the championship game. And the game is in Memorial Coliseum.
And you said they were bummed, so they wouldn't.
They suck. That team sucks.
They can't suck too much in the championship game.
Man, let me tell you something. I don't know what Wheaties that Archie Goodwin has been eating, but that brother has been like the combination of LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. Like, I don't know what has gotten into Archie Goodwin, but this dude that came out of South America looking like Superman. I'm like, if you were this good, why are you not in the NBA? Like every game, this dude's averaging like 30 points per game, and just nobody can guard him. It's insane how good he's been. But this just goes back to my theory that there is some hick in the hills of Kentucky that like sacrifices chickens to like make sure that Kentucky just has players that just play unbelievably. But like Archie has just been amazing. Like it really has been. Like everybody else has been solid. Like Morcell has been solid for the La Familia, but like it's all about Archie Goodwin. Archie Goodwin's just no one can guard him. So it is what it is. So yeah, they're one game away, and this Davis Steel team or whatever their name is. They're a team that's also from Kentucky. That's a Kentucky company or whatever that sponsors that team. So you basically have the UK alumni team versus a Kentucky company funded TBT squad.
I mean,
for the championship.
This is overglorified rec league basketball.
And Pedro Bradshaw, shout out from Bellarmine fame, is kind of one of the stars for this Davis Steel team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully Davis Steel can get it done. I'm definitely anti anything blue and white. So
I tell you I tell you there's something you can be for.
Yes.
And that's Bourbon Barbecue Mayhem, August 28th and 29th.
Absolutely.
At Bluegrass Harley Davidson. It's going down 2 days, one of the greatest events ever in the state of Kentucky. It's going down for 2 days. Bluegrass Harley Davidson, August 28th, 29th. Go to bourbonbbqmayhem.com for all the information you need and all the tickets to kind of give you an idea of what's going on.
Yes.
Which is so awesome. Is that 2 days worth of great barbecue. I mean, great. We're flying in 7 chefs and pit masters. They're going to come in and they're going to cook 2 samples of their take on Southern barbecue, as well as we got guys like Pursuit. Brewery's going to be there. Noble Funk, Copper and Kings. They're going to have like specialty cocktails just for you. And for one price, you can sample as much barbecue as you want on both days, both Friday and Saturday. You can, within reason, obviously. You can sample many of the beverages, once again, within reason, that you want. One price gets you in on Friday. One price gets you in on Saturday. If you want to come for both days, we got special combo prices. Go to the website, bourbonbbqmayhem.com. Check it out. I mean, like I said, and on Saturday, the chef's going to do it again with 2 new samples, with their 2 new flavors, 2 new takes. So it is going to be awesome. And then Saturday night, we're going to cap it off with Tim Mayhem Moten is going to be fighting for the ABO World Heavyweight Championship fight. My man Sim Bulls is going to be here. Tyler Albrecht, who's 7-0, is going to be here. The Sim Bulls is one of the best up-and-coming fighters this city has to offer. We're going to check him out. We got the number 1 fighter of Costa Rica, Sebastian Barricall, coming back. The Cuban Assassin is going to be here via Miami. I'm telling you, this is a 2-day event like no other. We got the Unlimited Show Band is going to be playing Saturday and Saturday night. So we got music, DJs, boxing, all the barbecue you can eat, the best cocktails you can drink. Yeah, it's just phenomenal.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Just go. I'm telling you right now, go to bourbonbbqmayhem.com.
Yeah, no, 100%. Make sure you check it out.
Check it out. And on top of that, next week, I'm giving away 2 tickets. So tune in next week to this very program. We're giving out 2 tickets.
There you go. Look, letting y'all know now, putting you on notice early. So,
and the fight's going to be hosted by Gilbert Corsi. And nice. I got a special announcement for our broadcast crew for the pay-per-view next week as well.
Okay. Look, Haven Heads are coming out with all the news.
Hey, I'm telling you, like last year, we were seen in like 4 or 5 countries in 25 states. So far, the pay-per-view take rates, we've already sold like 400 pay-per-view slots.
Wow.
In like 8 countries.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Like the first year is always the toughest, and this thing is just going to get bigger from here. Absolutely.
This is going to be one of Louisville's signature events.
Yeah.
And we want you there. We want you there. You have to be there. So I'm telling you, go to bourbonbbqmayhem.com mayhem.com. Check out the info. Get your tickets. I'm going to do something else, too, for you guys.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 10% off any ticket packages. This includes tables. This includes the 2-day VIP ticket. And the 2-day VIP ticket will get you bourbon and barbecue for both Friday and Saturday night.
Okay.
With the concert, with the DJ. Plus, it gets you in the fight. Save 10% off by using promo code MAYHEM26. Use promo code MAYHEM26 to save 10% off all the packages.
There you go. Haven Harrington. Look at it. He's doing his best Pat Kelsey right there. Says, the salesman du jour.
I'm about to grow my hair out so it'll be next Don King.
That's hilarious. That's wild. Hey, one last text I wanted to get in before we get out of here. Texter says, Raashaan, I think Pat Kelsey just got Chris Mack, meaning how Chris Mack had the pressure on him and he folded like a cheap suit. This is a make or break season for PK.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Hey, I tell you what, thanks so much, everybody, for listening. Thanks so much, Haven Harrington, for joining me this morning. As always, thanks, everybody. We'll be back. This is Wake Up 502 for Raashaan Myers and Haven Harrington, and we're out. Big X Sports Radio.